and welcome. You're watching Head to Head. I'm Antonina Antosha with UATV. In order to create a favorable investment environment, Ukraine should be open to attracting foreign investors and highly skilled professionals. One of the challenges for them is the procedure for obtaining a work permit and a temporary residence permit in Ukraine. Just recently, the European Business Association conducted a survey among companies that have foreign employees. So, has it become easier for foreigners to work in Ukraine? To answer this question and many others, we're joined in the studio today by Ievgeniia Luganovska. She is Information Technology Committee Manager at European Business Association. Hello, and thank you for coming.
Hello, thank you for inviting.
So, first of all, let's hear your evaluation of the whole situation with foreign employees in Ukraine.
Well, the whole situation is that we see with years, the situation is more and more foreigners are coming to Ukraine to work, and mostly if we compare the amount. In 2017, the number of issued visa D, working visas, were 30,000, and last year, 2018, it was 40,000 issued visa.
So there is an increase.
Yeah, we can see an increase in 10,000 people who are interested. And
I'm sorry, there has been an information out there that there were some kind of problems with the D-type visa, and your association had to apply or turn to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. What happened?
Well, it's not really a problem. It's the whole process, because starting in European Business Association, we started to work with this issue of working permits since 2013, and we tried to ease the situation. But the truth, in 2017, the new law was adopted, which really improved the situation when the foreigners didn't have to make the HIV tests, they didn't have to prove that they were not in court, suited in court. There is no need for the documents for the education, to prove the education. But now, there was an initiative to start to cancel Visa D, or in fact to issue Visa D in Ukraine. And currently, Ministry of Foreign Affairs is not ready, and they gave explanation why it's impossible to issue Visa D inside Ukraine. And we understand Ministry of Foreign Affairs because this change initiative was not really prepared and agreed with Ministry, and now we're trying to figure out how to solve that issue.
So the problem has not been solved yet. All right, what about the list of the documents that are needed by foreigners now to obtain a job in Ukraine, to be officially employed?
Well, there are several stages of obtaining. So the first stage goes that you need to apply to the employment center to get the permission to employ the foreigner. Then the foreigner...
Now we're talking about the employers. Let's talk about the foreign employees. What kind of documents, the list of full documents that the foreigners who are getting a job in Ukraine need to turn in?
Well, I think there should be, to explain you the stages, because there are, the employer can do everything, and then the employees don't have to do anything. Usually what's happening, because the companies are interested to get specialists, and companies, they assist the company, their employees. So it's more about the companies and how easy to do that, because for usually, if the foreigner wants to come to Ukraine, he or she already has the place where to work, and it means that the employer is interested to take them, and then they take all the all the documents to solve. So for foreigner, in fact, it's just photos the picture, then the insurance, and fill the application form. So it's not.
So no medical documentation needed, no educational documentation, university diploma, nothing like that.
Since end of September 2017, it was cancelled. But in our perspective, we see for the employer, what does it mean for the employer to take all those documents? And this is an issue, because there are several stages which the employer has to prepare all the documents. And like the big companies who have a lot of foreigners, they already know the procedure. But for the new company, like for a smaller company with no experience, it can be really tricky situation, and then it takes a lot of time, and then they can be rejected because they just didn't bring, like they forgot about one document, and then it's like it takes for the process it takes like.
Okay, but is anything done for let's say for the new companies to not to end up in such a tricky situation? Like, I mean, how are the new companies educated on the algorithm of hiring a foreign employee?
Well, according to the Migration Service of Ukraine, they're in process of that now, and they're creating the online website platform where you can see all the list documents which are not written in the law, because like when you read the law, it's quite hard to understand even for average Ukrainian, and then everything is in Ukrainian. But now the Immigration Service is creating the new platform where everything, the whole information will be provided in English, and with all this, with the checklists that basically you just go there and make the checklist.
Okay.
And we're waiting for this platform.
Let's come back to the evaluation of the situation in general in Ukraine. If we compare the situation in the year 2013 to the year 2019, what has the conflict in the east of Ukraine changed the situation, and how did it change it?
I think in general for business in Ukraine, the situation, the most like fragile years were 2014 and 2015. Now the situation is getting better and recovering, and we can see that more foreigners coming, comparing to 2013, 2012, and then up now.
Maybe there is some information on which regions are the most attractive for foreigners to come and obtain a job in Ukraine. Like, let's say, it could be central Ukraine. Clearly, east of Ukraine is out of the question, right? The eastern part of Ukraine is out of... But
not always.
Well, not always, right? There is always the Peace Corps and stuff. But is it usually the capital? Or do foreigners eagerly come to other Ukrainian regions to work?
Well, we should, answering that question, definitely Kyiv is a hot spot, because all diplomatic missions, like most diplomatic missions are here, then the biggest companies' headquarters are here. Then we should see how the regions they are developed. For example, in Western Ukraine, in Lviv, we see a lot of IT companies, and IT companies bring the specialists, so they have a lot of demand there. Then Kharkiv is a big as well cluster of IT companies, so they bring the foreigner specialists as well. If you mentioned Eastern Ukraine. For Eastern Ukraine, it's not a big number, but there are people who are coming for diplomatic missions and like OC and for such.
And what would you say is the industry that foreigners are most interested in? From what you just said, I got it that it was IT sphere.
Yeah.
What else?
Well, and then different industries like international companies, they bring their top management. Because according to Ukrainian legislation, the minimum salary for the foreigner should be 10 minimum salaries of Ukrainian citizen. So for now, it's like around 4,000 hryvnias. So it means 40,000 hryvnias for foreigner, and it's quite high-paid job in Ukraine. So usually it brings for the position of management in different industries, and the headquarters bring their specialists to develop the teams. But I can say an IT industry now is interested to bring more specialists from abroad, and for IT industry it's not a problem to give such high salaries. But then I hear from other companies like retail or manufacturing that they really need workers because they're living from Ukraine, and they would like to hire, for example, shop assistant from Kazakhstan, Belarus or any other country, like not really top quality specialists. And then it's quite problematic for them because they have to pay them minimum salary of 40,000 hryvnias. And now we're discussing this debt, like how to bring and like make this changing of workers, like this migration of workers going on in Ukraine, in the same time thinking about the security of the country and the threats from like us having the conflict in Ukraine, and be sure that those people that just come in really to work and not to bring threats to the country.
Well, hopefully that all the foreigners that come here in Ukraine are all in favor of working and not bringing the threats. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
That was Ievgeniia Luganovska. She is the Information Technology Committee Manager at European Business Association. Thank you so much for watching UATV. Stay tuned for the rest.